So let's get in now and talk about how to present the findings. I have some fun examples here. By using a clean style and a great story, you can design your presentations that will truly move your audience. I believe this wholeheartedly, and let's look at some examples. When building a presentation, it's key to know your audience. The audience, in the end, are the ones that you're trying to affect. You're trying to move them. You're trying to encourage them, to inspire them. So knowing who they are, knowing what a day in their life is like, knowing why they're there, all these things are critical to understanding how to actually present your information. Write them down. Have a form. Have a sheet that you fill out every time you go to give a presentation, so that way you can understand your audience better, because every audience that comes to hear you speak will bring a different perspective or a different vibe to the whole situation and understand and communicate and be receptive in different ways. So this is absolutely critical to know your audience. You need to find a common ground, something that you both can relate to. And this goes back to why we might use a story, and I'll talk about that in a second. But having a common understanding about something, whether you're both at the same company, facing the same problem, whether you've all had shared experiences in the past that you can relate to, bring those up, include those in your story and in your presentation so people can feel like they empathize with you. Now, structure to the story is critical. And we'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute, having both emotional and analytical bits, ups and downs. Think about how movies are structured. This is where film and television really help us with our presentations by giving us that structure, that story arc. There's a whole world to discover in this realm. And lastly, make sure you have a really solid design for your slides. I'll talk about that in a minute. You want to make sure your slides are effective in communicating and they're not putting people to sleep, they're not over communicating, they're not distracting. This should be a visual aid, not a visual hindrance.